A very good morning to you. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Sports This Morning. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
And I'm Cecilia Mogbe. And this morning we're starting with the Falconet. It was a late drama for the girls to book a spot into the quarterfinals. They needed just a draw, and that's what they got. The 95th minute, Rashida Dajibade, and of course the own goal. Well, okay, give it to her, but no. But then it was actually an own goal. But the thing is the Falconet are in the last 8 of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup.
Well, the Nigerian spirit at the center of everything again yesterday. The girls showed us it's not over until it is over. Just when a lot of us thought that the girls should be packing their bags and coming back home, they surprised us, and they're still in the competition. So good luck to the girls as they play in the quarterfinal. All right, let's talk tennis now and talk about world #1 Rafael Nadal. He has decided to pull out of the Cincinnati Masters to focus on the U.S. Open. Nadal is coming off victory from the Rogers Cup in Toronto, and he made that decision to focus on the U.S. Open and be fresh for the last Grand Slam of the year, while others are slugging it out right there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, absolutely. And why he's not showing up, but for Andy Murray, who shows up, he's out of the tournament even before it begins. The first round exit for him in Cincinnati, losing to Lucas Paul in that one. While the third round meeting with Roger Federer was actually dashed this time because everyone was actually anticipating that. So Andy Murray, well, he'll just have to go and rest and get ready for the US Open.
Yeah, so that's why we start off this morning for Andy Murray. Well, been some familiar story this season, and he's trying to get his way back, and so it's not all gloom and doom for Andy. It gives him a chance to press the reset button, look at the things that he did do right, and prepare for the U.S. Open. He has won it before, and you know, familiarity on these surfaces can help some of this top. I don't want to use the word extraordinary, but they're in that group, the elite group, the top 5. And so I wouldn't be reading too much meaning into Andy Murray losing in this one. I still expect him to put up a very good performance at the U.S. Open. But for this one, probably a time to just go and rest.
Yeah, time to rest, but then losing to Lucas Paul is not something that we expected. And knowing that he got at least, he played up to 3 games,
yeah.
you know, in the last tournament. But this one just wasn't enough for him at all. Coming, you know, into tennis after being away for a long time. It's also going to take him a long time to really regroup himself and get back. 7 games he's played so far, but then the losses are kind of much for him. Well, I think this is going to be a step for him to just get ready and be focused on the U.S. Open. How far he will go in that one, well, we'll see. We'll wait and see his level of fitness out. Surprisingly, that Lucas Paul actually took the first set of this one in just 30 minutes. And the second one, Andy Murray tried to fight back, winning 6-1. But then the final set, of course, Paul, a fitter player, then, well, was better than him. Well, he's targeting about 15% improvement. He says, I mean, he has improved 15% after this particular loss. But losing in that manner, having won the second set where he fought back at 6-1, it shows that he still got something in him. But then the final third, that's what he just couldn't deliver, and that's why he lost this one in that manner.
For Andy Murray, he came here 2 things. The results was secondary. How fit he was is primary for him. How long he could last on courts. And, you know, you've seen that when games tend to drag on, it tends to affect him the more. The other time he went to a tournament, won some games, pulled out because he's not there yet. And that's why he says, look, I'm targeting 10-15% improvement. If I can get that with what I have now, and, you know, when I sum up all of the things that he has said, that's why I know that this might just be a blessing in disguise for Andy.
Yeah, just maybe, I mean, pulling out of the Washington Open the quarterfinals after he played the game up to like 3 a.m. he felt the body just wasn't right for him. But this time around, if he can improve 15%, as you mentioned, well, definitely we might get something better from Andy Murray at the US Open, the final Grand Slam of the year. From Andy Murray now, let's talk about Rafael Nadal, who had pulled out of this same tournament. That's the guy. He's a defending champion for the US Open. He feels he really wants to focus on defending that, knowing that he's world #1. And if you're world #1 and if you have more points to defend and all that, you have to select the tournament you'll be playing in so that you'll be really fit for it. After just winning the Rogers Cup, hours later, he had to post a kind of a statement, message saying, look, he has pulled out of it. He would not be able to participate in Cincinnati's Western and Southern Open this year because he wants to avoid injuries, physical issues, and all that. And you know, when you're 32, you have to select the kind of
you have to listen to your
body, right? That's the way it is. I mean, we can just take the tweet now coming from Rafael Nadal, where he says no other reason is making him to pull out outside personal reason, and also taking care of his body, trying to keep as healthy as he can. He's thankful to everyone, all his friends, tournament director and all that, those who understood what it is to be able to be fit. And he went for that to say that I'm sure the tournament will be a success, and I wish him and his team all the best. I'm also sad for those amazing fans in Cincy and around who always give me a great support. I'm sure I will see them next year, and I'm sorry I won't be with them this year. Thanks for all the support as always. So he was supposed to be making his 13th appearance in Cincinnati, but then he won't be saying that. We'll have to wait till 2019 to see. In 2013, he won the title, beating.
He actually promised to be back. We'll see. It's going to be 33 then, so we'll see. He's still going to have the fire and the force that we know Rafael Nadal to have. We'll see what happens. But good one, good explanation. Coming off the back of winning something is not. I mean, you understand these guys at this level now. They have to pick and choose. Say whatever you like about them. They want to prolong their careers.
Of course.
And I don't blame them. Not only prolonging their career, save yourself from embarrassing defeats. I think that's another thing these guys are trying
You're thinking if he decides to come in here, he might just...
Yeah, when the spirit is willing and the body is weak, I mean, you suffer embarrassing defeats because you want to push, go to the baseline, hit some hard shots, and your body just can't make it work. So that's some of the things that they're really willing. These guys can really, if they pick and choose, they might last 35, 36. I mean, Federer has already done that, so who says Nadal can't do that? Okay, let's switch now and talk about golf. Let's talk about the Ryder Cup, that event that's always between the US and Europe. Let's talk about the US side of everything. The team captain, Jim Furyk, is the one speaking now. But a little background to it, Cecilia. Tiger Woods is the man in question. Tiger Woods is the one everybody is talking about. And when he started answering questions, they just didn't allow him be. The questions were about Tiger Woods. Will he be among the guys that will be picked? And Furyk, just last month, was saying no guarantees for Woods. But this time, he stopped short of saying Woods is going to be my man. By September 3, he's going to announce his captain's pick, 3 players. It's interesting because Woods is not in the top 8. The top 8 qualify automatically. Woods is outside that. But the captain can pick 3 players. So that's where it gets interesting. And I have a feeling he's going to pick Woods on the back of what he just did at the PGA Championship and the other event he went before that championship. So it's going to be very interesting. He stopped short of saying, I'm going to include Woods.
It's just, but, I think it's an open secret.
Yes,
it's going to be
but for us listening to him, it's going to. But you know, in his position, he has to be diplomatic so that it doesn't seem as if he's not showing respect to the other golfers. But I have a feeling he's going to pick Tiger Woods.
Because if you check the U.S. standing, he's 11th in the U.S. standing. You have the 8 automatic players. I mean, Brooks, of course, we knew he was going to get it another because he's won 2 major this year. So no doubt about that. Other players, Dustin Johnson and all that, the top 8, all of them making it. But Tiger Woods was just a question. Everyone asking Jim Furyk if he's going to make that cut and all that. And he said, okay. Captain has opportunity to pick 3 players. He might just be one of them. But then he actually said he has earned a spot in it, but he didn't say. He did. Yeah. He didn't say.
Careful with his words.
I just checked Tiger Woods. The last
his performance speaks
exactly.
For
finishing
itself.
6th at the Open, and of course,
And
the
this is
second, you know, the PGA Championship.
Says
So
Woods,
again, he's playing very well.
Woods can't be ignored.
So obviously, he has a lot to contribute to. Let's listen to Jim Furyk now, the Ryder Cup captain.
I'm not sure the numbers are always that important when I look down the list. What is important is how well Tiger has played. You know, 6th place at the Open Championship, the 2nd place at the PGA. His game, I think the word he used was trending. His game's trending, so it's great to see him playing well. You know, for me, the numbers they're nice, good to look at, but not always the most important. We want the players that are going to help us be successful. He's playing very well. I think there's a lot of folks out there that probably think he can help us, and we'll, you know, really what we wanted to talk about today was the top 8 players. I realize Tiger's a story. I realize he's playing very well, and I'm excited to see that.
All right, that's Jim Furyk there talking about the possibility of having a Tiger Woods there. He's in his 4th.
And you know, in the last, I think last 2 editions, he has been involved without playing, you know, and the captain at that point said, look, I just love to have him around. But this time, I think he's going to be more involved, and there's no way you can look away from Tiger. This time it's not about hype. In previous times, it was about the hype, but this time it's not about hype. And it's going to be interesting, you know, when the Ryder Cup starts September 28th, just 3 days, 12 players aside. We'll see what happens. But I feel that Tiger Woods will play a key role in that one. So we'll look forward to it and see what happens. All right, let's talk about a man that has served his country and it's gotten to a point where he feels it's time to bow out gracefully. Some people will probably say, why did you just do it when Spain won the World Cup? Why did it take you this long?
No.
But David Silva feels after 12 years of serving Spain, the time is right to leave the Spanish team for younger players and concentrate on his club football. And you cannot argue with what the man has achieved with the Spanish national team. He has been part of everything good about Spain. 2008, 2010, Euros. The World Cup, Euro 2012, and even though in 2014, 2016, and 2018, they did perform to expectation, but he was still there, and he's been a good servant. 20 years, made his debut in 2006. I mean, there's nothing left to expect from this man.
At all, after 125 games, 35 goals for the national team. At 32, he feels okay. After 12 years of service and all that, this should be the end.
Can't punish my body anymore.
At all. And surprisingly, if you check just at the weekend on Saturday, you have, I mean, we're always looking for Gerard Piqué announcing that because he said before the World Cup and all that, he might just call it quits, and he now made it known that he's leaving. So 2 key players now leaving the Spanish national team. But then, you know, this squad, they're not short of young players and all that. So I think they won't really miss him that much because you have other players that are really coming up. No Iniesta, no Gerard Piqué, no David Silva. I think Euro 2019, when you're watching it, you're going to see a whole crop of new players that will be in that squad because
I don't pity Enrique at all.
A lot are leaving right now.
I don't pity Enrique because he came onto the job. It was, you know, dousing fire everywhere, putting out the fire. I mean, made a call to Gerard Piqué. Piqué said, look, I wasn't joking when I told you I'm quitting. In Piqué's case, you could understand. He felt that he never had the love of the fans.
No respect at all.
Giving his best, and you are booing your national team player.
His political views, actually.
Yes, because of his political views, but he still represents them. Look, take Adam, for instance. The Brits, maybe people in England do not like what he says about Scotland, but anytime he steps to the court, they forget about all of that.
And they support him.
You understand? So they leave his political views
aside. It's not a team sport, it's different.
but for, I guess that's what Piqué expected, but he didn't get it. And, you know, that's, I don't think the reaction is over top. Defenders tend to last a bit more. That's why Piqué's on is Sergio Ramos is still playing.
Piqué is 31.
Sergio Ramos has been in the team before Gerard Piqué, and he's not even talking about...
He's a captain,
you know, so for Piqué, I understand, but for David Silva, I think, you know, in his position, younger players can do a better job.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a playmaker, you know, he's a midfielder, so you have so many in Spain. There's so many. Can we start counting them? I think we won't even finish if we start counting how many playmakers and midfielders you have in Spain. But I think his contribution definitely would be missed. Knowing a player like that, where you have key players, you can still manage to score 35 goals in 125 appearances, shows how good it is. Okay, Now let's go for a break. Now I want to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, we'll talk about him later. the kind of support he actually got, you know, when he played a friendly for Juventus. Go for a break now. We'll come back. We'll actually be taking it and talking about the West African University Games.